Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 21st and final round of the 2025 Super Formula One World Championship, the Interlagos Grand Prix. The final 47 laps of the season will take place here at Autódromo de Interlagos, the 2.68-mile, 15-corner track located in Sao Paulo, Brazil. For the third time in our 4 years, this race will determine the World Drivers' Champion, and this year we have a rematch from a year ago, but this time the roles are reversed. Oscar Piastri, the reigning champion, sits 11 points in the lead against his title rival and two-time world champion Max Verstappen. This is the first time Verstappen is coming into the season finale not leading the championship, as we remember his 7-point lead from a year ago before failing to score and dropping to third in the standings. Could this year be a chance of redemption? First, let's see how. First and foremost, in the event Piastri and Verstappen are tied, Max Verstappen will win the championship given his 6 race wins compared to Piastri's 3. Now, for Piastri, it's easy. Either finish ahead of Verstappen or join him on the podium in the event he wins. For Verstappen, it gets tougher. He cannot place lower than 5th. In that case, he'd need the fastest lap with Piastri out of the points. If he wins, he needs Piastri off the podium. 2nd or 3rd would require Piastri finishing at least 5 places back, and 4th would require him 6 places back. Now that the scenarios have been explained, let's get the grid set for one last time this year.
Starting at the back, Yuki Tsunoda starts 20th, alongside Carlos Sainz in 19th. Brazilian Gabriel Bortoleto starts 18th with Esteban Ocon alongside in 17th. Franco Colapinto starts 16th next to Fernando Alonso in 15th. Then Alexander Albon starts 14th alongside Nico Hülkenberg in 13th. Lance Stroll starts 12th alongside user driver Isaac Hadjar. And then Pierre Gasly starts off 10th next to Lewis Hamilton in 9th. Liam Lawson starts P8 next to Oliver Bearman. And then George Russell starts 6th alongside Charles Leclerc in 5th. Title rivals Max Verstappen and Oscar Piastri share the second row, with Lando Norris second and Kimi Antonelli taking his first career pole position.
It all comes down to this. 47 laps to decide the championship. Kimi Antonelli on pole for the very first time, and we are underway from Interlagos. The run down to turn 1 is very short, and Kimi Antonelli pulls away and leads us into the center S, as Piastri immediately shuts the door on Verstappen on the inside. Leclerc going around the outside of Verstappen and gets ahead. Now Oliver Bearman trying to challenge the Red Bull around turn 3, and for the moment he is ahead, but Verstappen pulls back in front as they enter the straight. Down the Red Bull Posta they come. Verstappen just marginally ahead. Now George Russell trying to get involved, and he's to the inside of Verstappen into turn 4 to see the Interlagos, and he is ahead. 2 places lost for Verstappen on lap 1 so far as Hamilton gets ahead of Bearman behind them. Nightmare start for Max Verstappen, already down to 6th as Antonelli leads the pack from Norris, then Piastri, Leclerc, then Russell. Down into Ferradura they go, entering the middle sector. Lawson looks around Bearman, who watches Pierre Gasly into turn 8 around the outside on Lawson and Bearman, and for the moment it looks like Bearman will hold on. But upon exit, Gasly gets his car in front. And back up front, Antonelli still holding it together with the 2 McLarens right behind, just coming up on Junsao now. George Russell trying to gain a place on Charles Leclerc down the Red Bull Posta. He's already pulling alongside the Ferrari. We'll have the inside for turn 4. Leclerc tries to defend from the outside, but just runs a bit wide, and that gives the place to Russell. Verstappen drawing alongside with Leclerc. This will put him back up into the top 5, and by the time they make it out of the Interlagos, he'll be ahead of the Ferrari. That's P5 with Russell just up the road. Piastri is starting to catch his teammate as they come across the line. There he goes, starting to move to the inside for turn 1. We'll have an opportunity with Norris not going defensive, and surely McLaren don't want to get in their own way today. But Piastri still doesn't have this move done quite yet. Norris fights this one back, and for the moment, he's going to keep the 2nd place. Piastri staying close around turn 3, but now he's dropping off onto the straight. Norris continues onward, but that puts George Russell on the back of Piastri, and George Russell looks eager to make a move on the championship leader. Russell coming out of turn 4 gives Piastri space, but Piastri loses the place, and now nothing separates the title rivals. Let's see if Norris will be close enough to go for a move into turn 1. It looks like he's gaining as they disappear into the corner, and he is alongside, going for the move on Antonelli, and he is just ahead of the rookie. But Antonelli is trying to hold on. Norris accelerates off into the lead. Now, does that put Antonelli under attack from his teammate Russell as they come down the straight? Russell not quite close, but now Antonelli leaving the door open. Russell's seen it, and now he will be the lead Mercedes up into 2nd. Perhaps that was a coordinated switch with Russell's pace. Albon gaining on Isaac Hadjar, and he's sending it down the inside at turn 1. Hadjar trying to defend the position, headed through the center S, so far doing so, but he has the outside for turn 3, and that looks like he gives the advantage to Albon. Hadjar has to slot in behind. Now he gets the slipstream all the way down to turn 4, chooses to go to the outside. It's tougher to make the pass there, and just behind them, Tsunoda making a move on Colapinto. Oh, and Hadjar ran wide, and Tsunoda will have that place too. Yuki Tsunoda entering the points. Hamilton putting the pressure on his teammate. Lots of in-team battling early on here in Brazil as Hamilton tries to get by Leclerc through the center S, and they are neck and neck. Leclerc looks to be just ahead, but Hamilton is not tucking underneath. Still on the inside as they run down to turn 4. This isn't the first time we've seen Ferrari battle head-to-head at Interlagos, as Hamilton gets ahead at the apex and moves up into 6th in front of Leclerc. Here comes Isaac Hadjar. He got a good run up the hill. Now chasing down Tsunoda, the man who he'll be replacing at Red Bull next season, and his teammate for just the first 2 races this season. Hadjar's to the inside at turn 1, and Tsunoda has a chance to fight this one back. But Hadjar gets himself ahead, and just as we see that, his teammate Liam Lawson is beginning to see pressure from Alex Albon. The Williams has not scored points or placed higher than 17th since round 14, but he's running up into the points currently and turns 9th into 8th. Isaac Hadjar diving down the inside on Lawson. More teammates battling today as Lawson holds the position through the center S, and all the Racing Bulls make contact. Lawson goes spinning round. We mentioned how many teammates have battled so far. Well, now a pair have come together and it's ended in contact. Incredibly bizarre. This is the view from Lawson's car. Wow, he just parks it on the apex, completely slamming the brakes on Hadjar. You can see the telemetry. Hadjar has absolutely nowhere to go in that situation. They haven't seen each other since turn 1, lap 1. Verstappen's dropped back, but now he's in Piastri's mirrors, and if he looks left, he'll see the Red Bull sending it up the inside, going into turn 1. And Verstappen is not going to make this dramatic. Goes right by the McLaren, covers off on the apex. Almost everyone coming into the pits on this lap except for George Russell, who's entering turn 1 now, having just completed his outlap. He's already got fresh tires, and he disappears out of the S's, but Norris is just leaving the pit lane, and he's going to lose his lead here. Mercedes making another strategy call that gets their driver out in front. George Russell now leads. Only now is Lando Norris exiting the pit lane. And by this point, Russell will already be entering Descida del Lago. The rookie's starting to feel the pressure now as Verstappen approaches, trying to take him off the podium. Verstappen staying patient, even under braking, but there's an open door once again, and Kimi Antonelli drops off the podium. Verstappen now on it, and now he can set off for the leaders in clean air, but more importantly, increase the already wide gap between himself and Piastri, currently in 5th, needing the McLaren to lose 3 more places as it stands. Lando Norris has closed that gap to Russell very quickly, and Verstappen looms in the distance. Russell just seeming to drop off a touch at this stage in the race, and it's allowing Norris to challenge for the lead once again, and Lando Norris wastes no time sending it back up the inside at the apex and getting back in the lead of the Interlagos Grand Prix. George Russell's in serious danger now with Verstappen just behind him. He hasn't cleared the back marker Colapinto yet while Norris drives off into the distance, and that's going to allow Verstappen to do the same. Max Verstappen has had enough of the waiting, goes straight around both cars. That's 2nd place now for Max Verstappen, and Russell still hasn't gone by the Alpine. Antonelli now arriving to the back of the scene, and just now does Russell finally move out and get into clean air. Antonelli follows. That is a horrible sequence for Russell. Norris already coming around turn 3, a huge time loss. Alonso is on rapid pace currently, gaining the last 3 places on track, and he's about to make it a 4th to the inside on Albon. Make that now 9th place for Fernando Alonso, the podium finisher from a year ago. Incredible effort to catch back up to the back of Verstappen. Norris still far ahead, but Verstappen doesn't quite have the pace to catch him, and now Russell has closed that gap right back up. We'll have 2nd place once more coming out of Descida del Lago. Russell now knocking on the door of Norris. He's found his pace once again, and he goes to the inside. Slight contact as Norris tries to cover him off. Lando Norris trying to defend his race lead, and as they come out of the center S, he does. Russell will have to go again. It was just second place for Verstappen, but it could soon be fourth as Antonelli gains on him. And as the inside for turn 4, Verstappen sliding off the podium and the pendulum swings back in the direction of Piastri. The pace has dropped back off for Russell because now Antonelli is catching him down the Retro Posta and he's moving towards the inside on his teammate into turn 4. Back on the podium goes the pole sitter. Verstappen sat close behind. Russell running out of tires late. He's coming in this lap, and this could trigger a second set of pit stops up and down the grid. But as of now, Verstappen will continue back into third and well ahead of Oscar Piastri, who's just coming out of turn 10. It has to be said, Piastri has been nowhere today, in no man's land, in fifth, but currently that would be enough as he just now comes around Jun Sao with Verstappen coming out of turn 3. From here, he needs to make up 5 more points. Russell coming around turn 3. He's going to get the undercut once again. Antonelli and Verstappen next out of the pits. That's Russell. There's Antonelli. And there's Verstappen fourth. But neither McLaren has pitted. Here comes Russell once more. Antonelli following around turn 3 as Norris makes his way out of the pits, but he will not retain his lead. And Verstappen is now stuck behind Lawson, losing tons of time by his former teammate as Norris exits the pit lane. 4th place for Norris. There's Verstappen gone by Lawson now as Piastri and Leclerc enter the pit lane. There's Piastri now coming out just in front of this Hadjar-Alonso battle, but he's come out 6th. That's still safe, but it's on thin ice as Alonso sends it down the inside on Hadjar. We've seen Alonso on a mission late in this race, never finished lower than 7th. That's where he stands at the moment, but Hadjar's trying to fight him back on the outside and getting onto the curb into Ferradura. Has to back out of it at the last moment, and Alonso now has 7th place and is charging Oscar Piastri. The pressure is now on. Kimi Antonelli apparently had damaging contact with Franco Colapinto. Here's his onboard down into Jun Sao, and just that little tap to the rear is enough to give him front wing damage. We can see it on the indicator. That is incredibly misfortunate. Ferrari have to pit Hamilton once more. He's coming in on this lap, and that will almost certainly promote Oscar Piastri back up to 5th with Alonso right behind him, but now 6th. Antonelli and Colapinto into the pits with damage, and this could not be any more tense. This puts Max Verstappen back up into 2nd place. Verstappen needs a Piastri P7, and Alonso's got Piastri in striking distance. Alonso is in striking range on Oscar Piastri. This is now for 5th, but Piastri doesn't look defensive here as he hasn't all race. Alonso sending it into turn 4. Piastri running wide. Alonso's up into 5th. Now Piastri is walking a very thin line here. This could very well go to the final lap. Another strategic masterclass for Mercedes. It'll be their 6th win of the season and his 4th. George Russell wins the Interlagos Grand Prix. And next across the line, Max Verstappen has done about all he can do. 2nd place for Verstappen. Lando Norris comes home to take 3rd. But now, where is Oscar Piastri? He's coming out of turn 10, right on the tail of Fernando Alonso. And that is just about the only place he can afford to be. Hadjar is not close enough. And as he makes his way up the hill for the final time, it will all start to come to him. Not a single win until round 12. He followed that up with 6 consecutive 2nd place finishes, 3 of which Verstappen won. But it was round 19 that broke the streak. A win on fastest lap and a 3rd win at Watkins Glen. The story of consistency crowns the champion. Oscar Piastri is the 2025 Super Formula 1 World Champion. Back-to-back world titles in only his first 3 seasons.
Yes! Let's go. That was probably the most stressful afternoon of my life, so nicely done. Nicely done.
And about as calm as you can be on the radio, Oscar Piastri is now a 2-time world champion. Oscar Piastri is your 2025 Super Formula 1 World Champion, and he left 0 room for error. He wins by 1 point. Max Verstappen cannot be disappointed. Coming into today down 11 and making up 10 points is an insane accomplishment. Verstappen finishes the year matching his record 6 wins as he had in 2023 and matching his personal best 12 podiums. But even with 3 more wins than the Australian, it is insanely difficult to beat 3 wins on 14 podiums, 10 of which were second place and 6 which came consecutively. And for the man that scored at least a point in every race last season on the way to his first title, Verstappen made it even harder on him this year, but he responded with even more consistency. As for the race, George Russell caps off the year, winning his 4th race of the season with Lando Norris in 3rd, rounding out our podium with the extra fastest lap point. The rookie Kimi Antonelli in 4th, just unable to podium from his first career pole, but with 2 wins and 4 podiums in just his first season, the Italian is certain to make some noise in the very near future. Fernando Alonso sure made the end of this race exciting. His 4 runs at Interlagos consist of 7th with Alpine and then 5th, 2nd, and 5th in the last 3 years. He still has top form around this track. Isaac Hadjar in 7th ahead of Carlos Sainz in 8th. Yuki Tsunoda, his final full-time race in SF1 for the time being, and despite being replaced by Hadjar at Red Bull next year, he ends it off with points. Alex Albon, first point since Switzerland, and Williams' first double point finish since Croatia, round 10. Notably, both Ferrari drivers end their quite underwhelming season without points today, despite running in them for majority of the race. Looking at the rest of the standings, the biggest surprise is Kimi Antonelli finishing ahead of both Hamilton and Leclerc over a full season. Coming into this race, Fernando Alonso was 11th in the championship, but with today's performance, he ends the season in the top 10, and he certainly was a top 10 driver this season. Mercedes firmly claims 2nd in the standings with Red Bull in 3rd, distancing themselves from Ferrari just at the end. Just to put that into perspective, Max Verstappen accounts for 87% of Red Bull's points this season. Williams took their best ever constructors result in 5th, which was previously 8th. But perhaps the biggest news to come out of today is that none of Alpine, Sauber, or Haas scored points today. But with the 8 points that Sauber scored across the previous 2 races, that leaves Haas as the 10th place finishing team this year, meaning that they will only be able to field 1 car on the grid next year, along with Cadillac in their single entry. We'll cover how the relegation zone rules work before the 2026 season begins. What an incredible end to our season, and Oscar Piastri is once again your 2-time, back-to-back Super Formula 1 world champion. He defends his throne from the very man he took it from and will carry it into 2026. Thank you so much for riding along with us this season, and we will see you next time on Project SF1.